Good morning and welcome to Cactv. This is the Morning Dew and newspaper review is just about to begin. I'm Modut Dominic.
And I'm Dapo Oloruto. Good morning, Modot.
Good morning.
My name is Ola Olajekwa. Modot, good morning to you.
Okay, good morning, Engineer Ola, as usual. So we'll quickly go on a break, and when we come back, we'll take a look at the stories that we have for you, and then we'll take a look also at the quotes for the day. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back shortly.
Welcome back. Our quote for the day is from the book of Psalms. The book of Psalms, Psalm 136, verse 1 and 2. It says, "Oh, give thanks to the Lord for his good, for his mercy endures forever. Oh, give thanks to the God of gods, for his mercy endures forever." At this point, I just want to stress that it is the mercy of God that has kept us this far. Just trying to evaluate how stressful, how difficult, how challenging the economy has been on us all. Lots of insecurity issue, and in the midst of this, it has been the mercy of God that has sustained us. And the same, I want to beseech us to believe that it is that mercy that will take us beyond 2023 into 2024, even as the year approaches. I want you to be thankful for who you are, for the benefits of this day, of a new day, and have the assurance that the mercy of the Lord will be sufficient for you. Have a blessed day. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Dapo, for that quote. So quickly, we'll take a look at the stories that we have making headlines from the Punch newspaper. And the first story that we have says Tinubu presents budgets Wednesday. FEC okays $1 billion loan. President Bola Tinubu will on Wednesday present the 2024 appropriation bill to a joint session of the National Assembly. This came as the Federal Executive Council on Monday approved the 2024 appropriation bill of 27.5 trillion naira. This is an increase from the 26.1 trillion naira earlier considered by the council. The Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Abubakar Bagudu, disclosed the approvals to the State House correspondents after the close of FEC's weekly meeting, presided over by Tinubu at the Aso Rock Villa, Abuja. While disclosing that the federal government is projecting 18 trillion naira revenue for the 2024 fiscal year, Bagudu said further details of the appropriation bill will be released when the president presents it to a joint session of the National Assembly on Wednesday. Further story also have it that according to the minister, the medium-term expenditure framework passed by the National Assembly is being reviewed by the Council. Okay, so further stories still have it that Bagudu said equally the Federal Executive Council approved the 2024 appropriation bill and the presentation of such to the National Assembly by His Excellency Mr. President. And that's the first story that we have from the Punch. And when I was going through this story, my thought was, how achievable is this? How realistic is this? and what then happens to it over the years, over the time as this is being presented by the president. So I'll start with you, Engineer Ola.
Well, Donald, we do not have much to say now because we have not seen the budget comprehensively. What we are seeing now is that the minister is telling us that by tomorrow, which is Wednesday, the president himself will present the budget to the National Assembly. But from the little we can gather from what the minister is saying is that I do not know how Nigeria will survive with this budget without going and borrowing again. Because when you are stipulating that what you are going to, with the budget will be about 29 trillion naira, and if the budget is as much as that, then we are talking about how much is the money that the federal government is estimating to generate, which is about 18 trillion naira. So there's 9 trillion naira difference. 9 trillion naira difference from the expected amount of money that the country will generate and the amount of money the government will spend. And again, when you look at it again, the government is calculating by saying we are going to base the price of crude oil to 750 naira, 750 to a naira exchange rate, so 750 naira to $1. So that because whatever excessive amount of money we need for infrastructure and other things, we can be able to get the money. And looking at this budget, the government again have to go and borrowing. They've been talking with AFDB, African Development Bank, to get certain amount of money. And again, we are running away from debt. There's no way we can run away from debt with this budget that we have. Gather all the economic professionals in the world. If you still have to go out to borrow, though every country of the world, do borrowing, but not to this extent. So my own advice is that from this budget, we have to look at our expenditure, the way we spend money, because when you are preparing budget, you have to consider your expenditure. Now, government is saying our priority is on education, on health, on security, but we have economic destroyers, and one of the economic destroyer, an agent of economic destroyer, is insecurity. There is no way you plan your economy when your people are not secured. They cannot go to farm, they cannot produce any food crops, and you are budgeting you are putting your budget on what you are expecting to gain from the economy, from Nigerian citizens. When there's no security, will you be able to gain this? So it's a very big issue that we have to address, this security issue in the country. Otherwise, it's going to be like a circle. We'll just be moving around circle. Because when you go out to borrow, when you borrow money to eat, how will you pay back the money?
So meaning that we have to first look at the things that we need to fix first before we can be realistic about the budget that we currently have.
Yes, and again I have to talk about corruption. In a country where corruption is the order of the day, government should not accuse anybody now. Government should look inward and try to eradicate corruption. I could remember there was a time I was traveling. We got to Singapore. They brought out a book. It's as big as bigger than the Bible and the Quran. Crime prevention. That is in the book. They have names of everybody who is a criminal in that country. If you leave Singapore today and come back after 20 years, you'll be caught. Because your name is inside that book. And it's at every point of entry. By land, by road, by sea. And every point of entry, the book is there. They opened the book. When the guy was opening the book, I said, look, my name cannot be in your book because it's my first time of coming to this country. So my name can't be in your book. So government has to design a method that, this is how to curb criminals. because they will still damage the economy. There's no way you can repair the economy when you have crime in the economy, criminals in the economy, then excessive spending. Excessive spending. This budget must be able to, government must be able to monitor the budget that they are proposing now, so that they can be able to cope all this excessive spending. So my take on this is that we can't say much on this budget as of now until when the budget is read and we now understand the terms and everything in the budget, be able to analyze the budget and come up with a conclusion on that.
All right, thank you so much for that great insight. It means that whatever happens, we have to first make sure that the base is well taken care of to be able to achieve this. We are not saying it is not achievable, but we need to make sure that we have to be realistic with whatever it is. Okay, so going further, we have the second story from the Punch, and this says Ondo lawmakers meet today, may declare Ayedatiwa acting governor. After the peace meeting with President Bola Tinubu in Abuja on Friday, members of the Ondo State House of Assembly will meet today, being Tuesday, to discuss the polity in the state. A source in the assembly said one of the major issues on the assembly agenda for today's plenary was the consideration of whether or not to declare the state deputy governor, Lucky Ayedatiwa, as the acting governor following the long absence of Governor Rotimi Akeredolu. Further story also has it that the source, the House plans to sit today, being Tuesday, and Ayedatiwa may be declared acting governor during the sitting. This is part of the outcome of the meeting with President Bola Tinubu. Going further, when contacted on the matter, the Speaker of the House, Olamide Oladiji, said he was at the meeting. Okay, we'll also see that he said in a statement that I will let you know whether the meeting will be held today, because we are at a meeting now. After the meeting, I will let you know the Speaker's state. Okay, I will let you know, the Speaker stated. Okay, as the time of filling this report, there was no information from the Speaker. Okay, so that's the first story. That's the second story that we have to take. So I'll bring this to you, Oladapo. What's your view on this? What's your take on this bringing Mr. Lucky to be the acting governor, considering the state of things currently in Ondo State?
You see, Ondo State has been in disarray ever since the governor fell ill and he traveled for treatment. He returned. He did not. He refused to go back to his state. We had reports said it is in Ibadan, and he has claimed to be there to witnesses. He has been visited by the Southwest governor to greet him, but be that as it may, if the state assembly have now decided to swear in the acting governor for acting governor, I think that is fair on the side of the law, because Governor Rotimi Akeredolu has been out of office for over 6 months, if not the entire year. So I think Ondo State needs to be governed. Ondo State needs to have a governor. Events, because the governor is sick, we must not hold the whole stage. So the state needs to move on. For that to happen, the deputy governor must be given an opportunity to act on his behalf. He's acting. We saw that when the former President Buhari was ill and traveled to London. Shibaju was vice president, was acting on his behalf. Same we saw, during Yar'Adua's era, when Goodluck Jonathan was
Also had to
was
stand
also
in.
acting for him. We saw Atiku standing for Obasanjo anytime he's out of the country, for stay visit or whatever, for an assignment. So the same should be replicated at the state level and at Ondo State. The deputy governor, there have been issues surrounding the politics of Ondo State between the governor and his deputy. There has been insinuations that things are not too well as they ought to. We even saw from report how the governor, on his return into the country, he fired all the media head of the deputy governor. That is to really show that some things are happening that is not too good with the state's principal. So however, the president has intervened. He has made this. He must have shed some light on decisions that should be made by the House of Assembly. And if they sit today and make the deputy governor the acting governor, I think it is worthy of the law.
All right, thank you so much. So, Engineer Ola, what's your take, Engineer Ola?
Well, to me, what they have to do is to follow the law, the Constitution of Nigeria. What is in the Constitution is what they have to follow. The Constitution says that, okay, you cannot absent from duty for more than 90 days, and 90 days has elapsed, so they have to follow the Constitution. The law is there already, so there is no gainsay from anybody that, we will do this or that, but they have to follow the law. That's my own position on that.
All right, so we'll take the last story from the Punch newspaper, and this says Adeleke surpassed Oyetola's first year achievement. The Osun State chapter of All Progressive Congress and the state government on Monday further disagreed on the achievement of Governor Adedamola Adeleke in the first year of the governor's administration. The Osun APC chairman, Tajuddin Lawal, in a statement on Monday, catalogued alleged infrastructure committed by Adeleke since he came on board as the governor and passed a failed verdict on him. But addressing the media on the occasion of the first anniversary of the administration, the Osun State Commissioner for Information and Public Enlightenment, Mr. Olapo Alimi, listed the achievement recorded in each sector in the first year of Adeleke administration, saying the governor surpassed first anniversary achievements of his predecessors in office, says Adegboyega Oyetola. But scoring Adeleke low, the opposition party chairman said Adeleke has failed to honor his campaign promises of clearing of a backlog of salaries of the government workers within 100 days in office, lacking accountability in the management of the state's resources, awarding revenue collection contracts to friends and cronies, inability to block leakages, failure to account for over 130 billion revenue accrued to the state in the last 12 months, mismanagement of 9 billion federal government palliative funds. But addressing journalists at the government secretariat, Abere, to mark the first anniversary of the administration, Alimi said the only project inaugurated by Adeleke's predecessor on his first anniversary was a health center, adding that the occupant had exceeded expectations. So that's the last story that we have from the Punch. So this is more like, you say I'm doing well, and the other one is saying they are not doing well. So which should we go for? Is it saying that he has achieved this, or is it the fact that he has not been able to manage or account for this? And I remember on this show we always talk about accountability of the things that goes on in the government sector. And if a governor cannot account for the things he has done for a year or in a year, then that means something is not done rightly. Engineer, so I'm bringing this question to you. What's your take on this? And do you actually think that he needs to be congratulated for achieving just an health center for a year so far in the
No, the health
city?
center was built by his predecessor, not himself. I think he has done more than what
Building an health center.
Oyetola did during the first year anniversary. But you see, one thing is like the saying of the basket of the basket that is holding a beer bottle or wine bottle is now calling
The basket.
that you are the trunk. What about the bottle itself that holds the wine? The both of them they are drunk. In essence, what I can say is that one, it's too early to judge if Adeleke is good or not. And another thing is that if you want to judge, if you have to judge, it is not people in government or the people in the opposition party that will judge Adeleke. It has to be the citizens. That with the citizens they have to come out and say, this is what Oyetola did during his first year anniversary. This is what he has achieved, and this is what Adeleke has achieved. But if the opposition party is saying he has not done anything, what do you expect the opposition party to say? Of course, the opposition party will criticize the present administration that you have not done anything. You are this, you are this, you are bad, you are that. That is politics of bitterness. They are practicing there because PDP has just got into power in Osun State, and barely a year, APC is now saying there is no achievement, they have not done anything. So it's a matter of time that we'll be able to know if really Adeleke is working or is not working. It's too early to judge Adeleke. But because for the past years, APC has dominated Osun State politics, it is now the turn of PDP. Let us see what Adeleke will do. Give him time to prepare himself and do what he has to do. So I don't have much to say on that because that is politics of bitterness.
All right, so quickly we'll go on a break, and when we come back, we'll take a look at further stories making headlines from Vanguard and also the Sun newspaper. Please stay tuned, we'll be right back. This is still CACT. Yes, welcome back from that quick break. You're still on to the newspaper review on Morning Dew, and we still have more stories to cover. And right now we'll begin with the Vanguard newspaper, and then we also have the Sun newspaper. So stay tuned as we begin. So the first story from Vanguard says, "Justice fight back. We can't replace law with emotions." Amid controversies trailing judgments of various courts handling election disputes, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, CJN, Justice Olukayode Ariobola, yesterday said that public sentiment and emotions cannot replace the law. The law remains the law, no matter what, no matter whose interest is involved. He also said, in all we do as interpreters of the law, we should endeavor to sever the strings of emotions from logical and assumption from fact, that he charged the judges. The presidential candidate of People's Democratic Party PDP in the 2023 elections, Atiku Abubakar, Labour Party and civil society organizations, however, fled the CJN for his comment, saying Nigerians were losing confidence in the judiciaries, considering the activities of judges in recent election matters in Kano, Zamfara and Nasarawa states. But CJN called the total emancipation of the judiciary from external influences, saying to guarantee the integrity of the judiciary, it must be truly, genuinely independent in all ramifications. It made the fact that the judiciary had over the years struggled for fiscal autonomy, which he said would ultimately embolden us to act without fear of intimidation or harassment from other arms of government. So that's the first story that we have from Vanguard newspaper. So we could see from this story that this is actually giving clarity that we shouldn't replace law with emotions. This is actually coming from the feedback, and I think it's coming from the feedback he has been getting from the masses. And I also think that it is of essence that this is being projected to people, so that people actually, people have lost confidence in our judiciaries, and all they need is some sort of confidence in them. Okay, so Engineer Ola, I'll begin with you. So looking at this statement from CJN, with what we are currently facing, would we say that is outrightly right to say this, or do we say that he's actually taking side, or he's not taking side, or he's actually being plain with what he's saying?
Yes, you see, but in a society where corruption has eaten so deep into the society, anything that happens in society will see it as corruption. What he's saying is very, very factual. Because in the history of Nigerian politics, it's always this statement after any election. When Shagari became the Nigerian president, it was like, oh no, this election was rigged because it did not favor Awolowo. The same thing is happening now. What do you expect the Labour Party to say? That the law, there's justice in Nigeria? They did not win the election according to Supreme Court, not by anybody. Supreme Court. Now look at this scenario. In some areas, they go to court, PDP will win. There wouldn't be any argument like we are not in support of the judgment. Another scenario, APC will win. PDP will say no, it has been rigged. The court did not favor them. So we cannot replace law with sentiment and emotion. That is what the CJ will say. Anybody who's in that position, this is what he will say. You have to defend where you are working. You have to defend your department. Otherwise, proved wrong that this judgment is biased. That has not been proved. No, they went to tribunal, they went to no, appeal court, and they went to Supreme Court. And then that is the highest court in Nigeria that you can go to. So if after the Supreme Court, what else? So we can, because in a country where corruption is the order of the day, something like this issue will come up. People will feel aggrieved that, oh, I've been cheated. But is there any country in the world where everything is 100% pure? So that we cannot say. I don't have much to say on that. I will throw the part of the CJ.
Okay, so Onada, I'm coming to you on this. So going by what CJN has spoken, and I'm asking you to respond. I'm asking you to respond like one of the masses that you are. So, do you ever see that in this part of the world that we are in, that it will get to a point where people would have to believe in their government, especially when it comes to the electoral commissions, when it comes to them? Do you ever see the masses having confidence in them again as far as election is concerned?
Well, as far as the election in Nigeria is concerned, Nigerians have lost hope in the judiciary, in the electorate, in the INEC itself. So, but that's not the matter, for debate, because either you trust or not, there will be election, somebody will emerge a winner. And what the CGA is, responding to is the cry of the people, particularly, I think one of the generals, the military, even, throwing at the government, the executive, that the judiciary system is not working. So probably they should scrap it. And they were saying that to the legislators. So if I think that was what got to the attention of the CGN, like, if the military are insinuating that we are not doing our job, we are likely to be thrown out of office. So who is likely to need them? So, and who will speak for them if the CGN doesn't speak out? So speaking is speaking in defense of all their, I don't want to say, I'm looking for the right word, so that the CGN will not say have abused the law. So I think he's just trying to speak to the matter, that the military should not see it that way, and the people should not see it that way, that the judiciary is a court of evidence and not of emotions. So if you are emotional about situation, you are likely not to have the favor of the law. But if you have evidence to state your cause, definitely the law will be on your side. So,
all right. Away from that, we'll take a look at the next story still from Vanguard newspaper, and this says flight diversions will begin blacklisting of negligent airline regulators. In a move aimed at enhancing the safety and security of the Nigerian aviation sector, the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, has initiated moves to begin blacklisting of negligent airline regulators at all levels. This was as the minister also issued a directive mandating all wet leasings entering the country to include Nigerian pilots and cabin crews. Vanguard also reports that this strong stance comes in the wake of a recent flight diversion incident where a United Nigerian Airlines airplane landed in Asaba International Airport on Sunday, rather than the Amadi Azikiwe International Airport. Okay, so moving further, the story says that it was against the backdrop that the minister also ordered the Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau, NSIB, to within 10 days provide a comprehensive report of all investigations carried out on air accidents and the reason why they happened. Addressing pressmen after a high-class technical meeting with key aviation heads Monday night in Abuja, the minister said that the decision comes in response to concerns over unfamiliarity with Nigerian terrain and communication issues resulting from the use of foreign pilots and crew. Okay, looking at the last line for me is this coming, the whole thing boils down to the fact that it is as a result of using foreign pilots and crews. And why is all of this happening in our sector? Why are we paying so much attention to, rather than use what we have or use the people that we have, why do we pay attention, and why is this diversion coming to or making headline for today, Engineer Ola?
When you are talking about professionals, because when you look at aviation industry, it has to do with professionalism. It has to do with professionals. If you have professionals in Nigeria, why won't you use professionals? But if you don't have professionals, you use foreign professionals.
But do we even believe in the professionals? Do we even believe in Nigerians to a point knowing whether they are professionals or not?
Let me give you an example. It's not a matter of belief or not. There was a time we were in Jeddah in Saudi Arabia. We went for Hajj. We were coming back. We were turning back home. There was a very big war between Somalia and that's ASICS. So there was only a very narrow part that the plane can fly. They declare a no-fly zone. And this guy is a Nigerian pilot. The only thing he says is that okay, they should set off some loads, that the plane should be lighter, not to be heavier. He came back. He's a Nigerian, so we have Nigerian professional pilots who are doing their job. So, but this scenario is that we are talking about professionals. Does not really matter where you are from, as long as you are a professional and you have a flight experience. You have lots of hours. You understand? Behind you. But not that okay, because I'm a Nigerian and I'm a pilot and I don't have hours of flight. Who will employ me? It's not so. We are talking about aviation industry, which is highly risky. That there shouldn't be any mistake at all. It's because the airplanes accident is always fatal. Sometimes nobody survives it. Most times, no survivor. You understand? But what the minister is now saying is that he wants to overhaul the industry. Why must you go and land at Ikeja Airport instead of going to Abulegba Airport? There must be a cogent reason for doing that. You can't just continue breaking the law. The aviation industry is not like that. It has to overhaul everything, and then possibly recommend give out a new directive for all of them because of the safety. I don't have much to say on that. I think this is what Keyamo ought to have done before now, that is doing. That you, as the aviation minister, you have to generally cross-check every aspect of aviation and then be able to know what is to be done and where things are going wrong.
All right. It is never too late to get it right. So if this is coming up now, I still believe that there is a reason for it, and I also look forward to them doing the right thing and giving him, the breakdown of what it has been over the time. So, Oladapo, what's your take on this?
Well, my take is that just like the minister requested that they include Nigerian-made pilots and cabin crew in the administration of other traveling agencies that include the American heads. But I don't know how visible that would be for if we don't have an airline of our own. I think we have Air Peace, and I think Air Peace is the only Nigerian-owned airline that is doing any international trip. The likes of Arik and some others are maybe on contract. They are still being managed by all these white people. So, and in a company of the white, with the kind of business interest they have, I think they are skeptical about having Nigerian pilots man their aircraft. So that could be the issue, and in a way, empowering and creating employment for their own people. Because if I'm coming to Nigeria, if I'm coming to the United States, for instance, and I'm establishing a business empire, I'm likely to feel safe having Nigerians like me in the business than having Americans in the system. The same they are trying to apply on Nigerian soil, bringing in their expatriates, bringing in their facilities, their aircraft, and they want it run by them. So it's, and if you look into the aviation industry, it's not something that you have to take with levity, that you have to manage.
Exactly.
People who are to administer your business.
Yes,
It has to be,
has to do with life.
yeah, it has to do with life. So I will not fault them. As you are, be sincere to yourself. If you see a white captain on the plane and a black pilot, who let's have the plane side by side, who would you want to fly with? Let's be sincere with ourselves. And general, who would you like to fly with? An average of us will want to fly with the white, because they have mastered, like they trained the black men to, they've acquired. So even if it's a year one pilot, we tend, and aviation is not, you must have fly about 3,000 hours to be made a captain at all. So it requires lots of evidence. So, and we seeing those white pilots, the kind of confidence we have in them is far higher than, and the same goes for all virtually every passenger. So I will not fault the American Airlines if they have not made Nigerians their pilots. But if they can, of course there are good pilots among us. I know quite a number of pilots who are into international flying and who can be hired by the American and the British Airlines.
Alright, so this brings me to a point where I'll also have to chip in this to say that we also need to believe in ourselves. Because truth be told, going by just what we just spoke about, there are times, aside from the aircraft, using another scenario, anywhere you go and you see a white person doing something, you would always want to go for that person first.
Yeah.
Whether the person has acquired the knowledge or not, but because that person is white, we all have this mindset of, they know better, they have all the experiences. Meanwhile, the black who is also there may even have more experience than the white person in question. So this brings us to having trust and believe in ourselves, and also we building ourselves to a point where people can also believe in us, to build yourself to a point of professionalism. Okay, so looking at the next story that we have, and this is Cabinet. Lagos Assembly confirms 3 nominees. The Lagos State House of Assembly yesterday confirmed 3 persons nominated by Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. The House confirmed Mr. Abiodun Ogunleye as commissioner, while it approved 2 others. Their confirmation took place during a plenary presided over by the Speaker of the House, Mudashiru Obasa. Okay, we also see that earlier the chairman of the ad hoc committee set up to screen nominees, Mujid Fatia, said his committee did a thorough job in line with the task handed it by the Speaker. In his remark, Mr. Obasa, who cited Section 192, Part 2, Chapter 6 of the 1990 Constitution as amended, confirmed that the nominees, after securing a unanimous vote of the lawmakers present. The Assembly had received a letter from the Governor Sanwo-Olu seeking the screening and confirmation of 6 new nominees for cabinet position. So that's the last story that we have from the Vanguard newspaper. So, Engineer La, I'm coming to you with this. What's your overview of this?
I don't have anything to say on that.
Okay. So are you congratulating? I used to congratulate the governor for having nominated, 3 extra commissioners. Is this the right step to take?
I do.
Okay. So we'll say congratulations to our governor for taking this bold step, and I look forward to the 3 people who have been nominated to be approved, and it was based on what they have and based on what they can deliver to the country at large, not just being nominated, not just being put there to be commissioners, but doing their job as the case may be. Okay, so now we'll take one more story and we'll call it a wrap. So the last story we'll take is saying war over judiciary. Lagos People Democratic Party elders, led by former National Vice Chairman of the party, Oladapo George, has warned of a looming anarchy over the actions of the judiciary in giving conflicting judgment. At a meeting in Lagos yesterday, attended by elders of the PDP, including former Deputy Governor of the state, Kofoworola Bokno Akerele, George said it was not the best of time for the judiciary in Nigeria because, according to him, what is oozing from the third arm of the government is offensive to millions of Nigerians, and when the judiciary is compromised, democracy is gone. He said because of conflicting and contradictory judgments coming from a few judges, the faith of many Nigerians in the judiciary is understandably shaken. George said many Nigerians point to some corrupt judges who escape unscathed to enjoy the ill-gotten wealth because the system is weak or compromised to do proper investigation. We now have a situation in which courageous judges who refuse to do the bidding of the power that be are accused of being corrupt and forced to resign. In many political cases, millions of people believe, and rightly so, that some judges deliver judgment, not justice. What exactly is the problem of the judiciary? Where did we get it wrong? Why is it difficult for the judiciary to assert its control over politicians and political parties? Why are technicalities being used to affirm electoral haste and in the process undermine the will of the people and silence them? What is the meaning of a typographical error? When a judgment had already been delivered, it is, according to some Nigerians, that the real judgment was pushed aside and other read which has now led to a typographical error. So this still goes back to what we spoke about when CJ was speaking about people, believing in the judges or the judiciaries, the legislature, as the case may be. So, Engineer Ola, what's your last word for?
You see, nothing good can come out of Israel except war. What do you expect from Body George? I'm not attacking his personality, but I've been following what he's been saying. For the past more than 10 years, I've been following what Body George has been saying. You are talking about justice, a judgment now that has passed. This Body George, he fell away from Obasanjo. He was in government. He fell away with Obasanjo. This same Body George went to prison and came back. He was always bitter about government policies and ideas, and has not brought out anything that is reasonable and tangible. Kofoworola Bokno was a deputy governor in Lagos under Tinubu. You will understand where I'm coming from. I do not understand this politics of bitterness, hatred. It doesn't go anywhere at all. There was a dispute. This matter was taken to court, tribunal, appeal court, and then Supreme Court. What is this? Is somebody whose head has been cut off. What is he saying? There's nothing can say. But it should not. Is an elderly person, well respected, should not be putting himself into unnecessary controversies. Because it's against the principle of the court that after judgment you start making stupid and useless discussions. Would you want to overturn the judgment, or what are you saying? No. But in some areas where the opposition party won, there are no much controversy, there are no noise. What is the same thing? If you involved in Lagos politics and you know what this man did in Lagos, and he said that if Tinubu becomes Nigerian president, I will leave this country. He's still in the country. He has not left. No. You have to relax. Leave this scenario for your children. You try to gang up Lagosians against the party in Lagos, but they did not follow you. Now you are now bringing out another smoke of fire again. That okay, the judgment is wrong. Nigeria should not believe in judiciary. What are you trying to do? You are now becoming anti-government gradually. Before you know it, you are already anti-government. So to me, I do not. I do not support what Bode George is saying. So an elderly sick man, he has to tread carefully. He has to work jeje.
It doesn't have to be a partisan.
Yes, it doesn't have to be a partisan. You don't have to be on any side. You have to be neutral, because you're an elderly sick man. If there's a fight between the two people, they'll come to you as a negotiator and resolve the matter with them. Not that to be condemning somebody. Every time you speak, you are always condemning somebody. What kind of conversation is that? At least as an elderly person, full of wisdom, you have to apply your wisdom and say, okay, I'm a kingmaker. I make kings. I don't have to destroy the throne. You don't have to destroy the throne. You don't have to cause anarchy in Lagos. Yes, because all this incitement can cause chaos and anarchy in Lagos, which we don't want. If you have a good advice to give to people, come out boldly and advise. Don't instigate people against each other. It's not a good thing at all.
All right, to this note, we'll call it a day. Thank you so much for being a great part of today's newspaper review on Morning Dew. It's been such a great time, and I'm sure you had a great time too with us on set today. So till we come your way, same time, same station, I remain yours truly, Mother Dominic.
And I'm Dapo Lorento. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for watching.
Be Nigeria.
Bye, Nigeria.
God bless Nigeria.